turtle turd. Fuck. Fuck. Apparently we're writing in blue today. Platinum. I'm on the wrong video again. My goodness. We are just out of control today, aren't we? We are just... We're just straight up out of control today. Oof. Platinum? Main tank. Okay. Okay. Actually get into this VOD. Jayne, you didn't read my sub notification. It's because it's not there. Sometimes Streamlabs misses a sub, and it looks like yours is one of the ones that Streamlabs missed. So, sorry. But, yeah. Thank you for the sub, my friend. When is the sub tourney? This Sunday. Okay. Okay. Let's watch some gameplay.
We'll do just fine. Thank you so much. That's alright. That is totally fine. All you have to do is just listen to comms and we will do just fine.
Oh, you're like an air traffic controller. You're one of those guys. I love the people like you.
Thank you so much.
Is that the reason the timestamp was at 3:16? Because that's the... Oh, boy. Pavels does this great thing where he sends timestamps to me with the last time the people hit tab. Hopefully the comp changes. Yep, okay.
I'm looking forward to working.
Destroying all the vending machines. I see you are also a man of culture.
Well, thank you, guys. Well, I'm just here to make sure we get good calls and we...
Yeah, Pavels does all the quality assurance on the VODs. So, honestly, he makes my life like 10 million times easier.
You know, I'm really enjoying the weather right now. It's very warm over here in sunny old England. You got nice sort of, you know, not if it gets too hot though. Tell a story. Well, I'm gonna have to try to make comms, but in downtime I'll try to tell a story about something. That sounds like fun. All right.
Even I get lazy sometimes, but if you don't have anything to take advantage of front door spam, just wait a second. So if you don't have a diva to eat it, a Zarya to gain the energy yourself, just don't immediately walk out. It only like costs you 2 seconds.
Alright, they've got a Widow in main. Be very careful. Yeah.
Man, like even GMs fall for the front door trap, even though it's super...
I dived over. That was
super risky!
Woo! That was close. I tried to just balance myself there and I overshot. I'm lucky I got out of that. Alright. They've got Pharah. We should just wait at
God damn, that went 0 to 100 fucking immediately.
Widow in main. Be very careful. Yeah. Right, I'm quickly gonna dive up and put pressure on the Widow. I dived over. That was...
I'm just gonna dive up and put pressure on the Widow. Okay, bud. That was a tad more than you just said.
Mistake.
You may have the voice of a god, but it contains fucking lies. You sit on a throne of lies, sir.
Whew. That was close. I tried to just balance myself there and I overshot. I'm lucky I got out of that. Alright. They've got Pharah. We should just wait at the choke and try to build some ult.
Yeah.
Just trying to get picked. Careful, Brigitte. Don't go too far in. Alright, back up. You're alone. Don't be so aggressive. Nothing wrong with nothing.
I like it so far. You gotta be careful you don't get on micromanaging. That Brigitte, if I was that Brigitte and you said something like that, I might get annoyed with you. So try and stick less with, unless you need somebody to do something based on an action that you have available to you, like Widow Peak so I can Guardian Angel to you if you're a Mercy. That is telling somebody to do something so that you can do something. That's fine. But telling somebody how to play their hero, avoid correcting mistakes in a game unless absolutely necessary, and instead speak in generalities or about the team as a whole, just so people don't get pissy and feel like they're being micromanaged. Yeah, the YouTube audio is a bit weird. Yeah, she was feeding. Do you think that after she died, she was aware that she was feeding? Probably, unless she's just a mouth breathing. Um, she probably knows she fucked up because she's dead. Hey Moira, or hey Brigitte, you're dead. Try to avoid that state of being. I hear that alive is pretty good, especially when people want to. They know they fucked up. They died. They don't need you to remind them.
Nothing, man. Yeah, it's very hard. Oh my god.
That hit you?
I'd back out.
And that's, I didn't think it was going to happen because this is platinum and this almost never happens. But the red team actually did push through a choke to kill you, which is why if you are down 2 at higher ranks, I'd be running the fuck away. At plat, usually you can poke even when you're down 1 or 2. So I'm actually surprised red team decided to push through and punish. Maybe plat's gotten better than since I was last there. But yeah, so if you're down 2, especially on like 2 CP when there's hard chokes like Hanamura like this, don't sit around and just wait for them to fucking murder you. Run away and regroup way farther back from the choke, preferably closer to spawn. At higher ranks, you're going to get punished. 1 pick, and they're going to run you to the spawn door. Like, the rule isn't about position, right? The rule about staggers is 10 seconds. So if I have killed someone, I am going to be pressing W until I have not killed somebody in the last 10 seconds. On defense, on offense, doesn't matter.
Very careful with that. We are getting destroyed. Alright, nice. We all up? Oh no. Alright. We're getting picked bad. Yeah, it's hard for me to
Can't wait for you to pressure that Widow again.
dive that Widow when she's in such a precarious
It's not really your job to dive a Widow, especially here. She's got grapple and she can retreat to her team. It will literally do nothing for you.
spot.
Also, she conveniently got whip shot away from you. Good job actually landing on the beam this time, though.
Alright, stop landing that time. I'll just try to keep pressure on the Widow until you guys can get back.
So you have an Orisa now. Now you're actually playing like an off tank, which is weird, but
Up here. It's so hard to jump to dive up.
and yes, that's the YouTube audio, not stream audio.
Alright, nice. Get it down. Careful, Genji. I'm low. Can I heal it? Alright, diving point. Follow me in.
But why point? Like, so look at the time here. We're at 2 minutes and 23 seconds, and this is your first real dive. The first dive onto the Widowmaker to pressure her was a fuck up. The second one didn't really do anything. You just staged, more or less. You could call it a stage, maybe. It's a really fucking shitty place to stage, but you did it. And here, when you finally do have the balls to dive beyond the tanks that conveniently don't have mobility, I would ask you the question of what did you dive, but the answer would be better phrased as where did you dive? Now, when we're talking about tanks, the main purpose of tanks is, of course, to create space. Ooh, wow, there was an echo. But Winston loses against Brian Zarya. So you poke them a lot, right? But you say it's to build ult charge, which I was going to just be pissy at you, but you classified it. And if you had the reason that you were poking the tanks at the choke to build your primal rage, fine. If that's your reasoning, that was a reason. I'm not going to nitpick about, well, yeah, but the Zarya and the Reinhardt are probably going to charge their ults faster than you, and even if they charge them at the same speed, their ultimates are more impactful. Meh. Okay, but we're going to talk about like how Winston is creating space. And this is a really old clip from I don't know how long ago, but this is actually one of the most viewed clips on the channel. So instead of explaining it, I'm just going to replay an old clip and take a drink of Coke.
There's a back line and there's a front line on the enemy team. As a Winston, you do not dive the front line, and you don't dive between the front line and the back line. You dive onto or preferably behind the back line so that the front line has to peel for the back line, or else the back line will die. Okay? This peeling of the front line to the back line puts them in this location, which has suddenly created an area of space for your team to push in. A shield tank takes space with frontal pressure. A dive tank takes space by being a disruptor and forcing the retreat or the loss of their backline.
Okay, simple. You heard it? Done. Perfect. So, the first thing that you have to kind of understand about when you're playing Winston or anything like that, let's jump into Overwatch.
Traveling to Hanamura.
So if you're a Winston, how you play Hanamura depends on whether or not you have dive targets. Or sorry, dive DPS with you. So there's a couple things that you can do on Winston here. And like poking, yeah, kinda. There's times in which you would actually poke, and I don't really want to... This is not one of those times. If they have a stronger front line and they're going to outvalue you, there's no benefit to poking. In fact, it's going to be a sort of... You're going to lose value every time you're poking. Now, anytime that you went up here or onto the high ground or anything like that... Also, I've never heard that cannonball voice line before. Can I actually make this jump? Hey, I did it. So when you jumped up here, one of the things that you could have done is scouting or recon. So you know where the tanks are, but do you know where the rest of their team is, for example? Now, if you had gone up here and recognized where they were laid out, for example, if you knew where the Zen is because he was sitting back there, then when you actually went to engage, you could kind of like look at the tank, then immediately jump on that target. And if you've jumped this far away, the Ryan and the Zarya can't do shit about it without giving up the front or the choke and chasing you down. So if you have dive targets, it's important to communicate what and where you're going after. So when you did go up here, I knew I was going to do that. When you did go up there, you could have used this opportunity to scout for targets and be like, okay, there's Zen's in the back right, or there Anna's in the back right. Are you guys ready to dive it? Genji, or Tracer, or Pharah, or anything like that. They're like, okay, I'm going to go for him in the back right. Ready? 3, 2, 1, I'm in. Awesome. Perfect. Now the question is, what do you do if you are the only diver? Now, there's kind of two things you can do here. The first is, if you are the only diver, you want to dive someplace in which you can create space or kill something solo. Now, killing something solo is, of course, going to take a little bit more skill and positioning and cooldown. Like, I wouldn't jump an Anna unless I saw her use her sleep dart or something like that, but you can do it. The second way that you want to be doing this is to, if you kind of like look to the right here, if you jumped up here, we can get in here very easily. So we'll have taken a little bit of a chip damage jumping in, but then we have this Mega, and by the time we flank all the way around or something like that, we'll have our cooldowns up again that we can use to actually fight. But the problem with just jumping into Narnia here is that when you land, I don't think you can make it all the way to the point. I guess you could. So, either way, the problem with this is that you don't directly threaten anyone. They still have really easy routes of retreat. They're probably all going to be able to regroup, and you don't really do a lot here. And if they do decide to immediately threaten you, you're probably going to have to use your bubble, not offensively, defensively, which is never really a good thing on Winston, and you're not going to have your jump up if you need to escape. So this is also the sort of reasons why you surf, right? So if you sit in this position on So if you sit in a position like... God damn it. Come on, come on, come on. So if you sit in this position for Winston, for example, then you can see that my cooldown is still dropping. So you can do things like engaging, but then immediately jumping out and shit like that. So you never really want to land somebody with your cooldown on your jump already at 5 seconds. This is one of the reasons why if you're in a high ground or a high ground position or anything like that, you want to drop on them so you arrive in the fight still having your jump to escape or things like that. But just kind of jumping in and moving to the point, if you were going to do that, then like the only thing you're kind of doing is forcing one of them to rotate and deal with you and pressure you, and you're not a long-range hero. And even if they have something like a Zen, they're going to pressure you to the point where you're useless. So I don't like the way you actually did decide to engage on this point. Could he dive the Widow in the upper part of the point instead of going to the point directly? Widow's not a good dive target. The reason why Widow's not a dive target is because of her grapple. Even if you dive her in open territory, right? Even if you dive Widowmaker in open territory. So if a Widowmaker gets dove, what do? I just... Apparently I don't grapple the ground. Apparently I grapple this shit. Let's try that again. Even if in open territory I get dove by Winston, just fucking peace, guy. I'm out of there. Right? So grapple's on an 8-second cooldown, and Winston's jump is on a 6-second cooldown. So if you do jump at me, headshot, grapple, I'm fucking gone. Nice job, you're dead. Diving Widow is not easy to do on Winston unless you've already seen her use her grapple or you have Primal. Primal can be used to clear Widow out. Normal Winston cannot. What's your grapple sense at? Probably way too fucking high. Yeah. Let's drop that down. Boop. So many Widowmakers don't grapple the ground. I don't understand. It's such a huge boost in mobility. It sends you so far. Eh. But yeah, just grappling the ground to kind of clear space and whatnot. So a lot of people use grapple. Impromptu Widow tips. You know, that's the normal use of grapple to get onto high ground. But a lot of people... Where can I demonstrate this? Where could I demonstrate this? Can I just demonstrate on the main gate? Yeah, so if you grapple like the middle of this wall, you can still disconnect your grapple early and then actually air strafe around corners. So even if there's only like walls, if you just disconnect your grapple early... Right? So you can disconnect your grapple at any time by pressing spacebar. So you can, if you want to grapple into places, but you can't hit the ground. Like I'm on a little bit of an incline. If I grapple that, fuck, I want to grapple this pillar. It's best on flat surfaces, but if I try and grapple this pillar, I can just disconnect it early and then air strafe around it. There we go. I disconnected too late. Let's try that one more time. Disconnect grapple early and air strafe past it. Boom. So there's a lot of really creative uses of grapple. There's getting onto things, but then you can use it on the floor to send yourself forward. And especially even like the tip with Reinhardt, where if you hold space at the end of your charge, you can get flung even farther. There's grapple. See how I stopped? If you hold your space, you can do the skip to send yourself even farther with... Ugh, it didn't happen. But yeah, you want to press space just before the end of grapple. There you go, just like that. So you saw how I did my extra sip and got extra distance. Widow can clear a very large distance in a very small amount of time. So yeah, Widow is not a easy dive target. Let's see if I can do the air strafe again. Yep. So you don't have to send yourself up, and even if you do send yourself up, you can, if you disconnect your grapple early enough, you can do a little bit of an air strafe, but it's easier to air strafe left and right than it is to change your vertical. So I have to disconnect really early in order to strafe under it. So if you do want to get lateral distance, but for some reason you can't grapple the ground, boom. So, impromptu Widow tips. What the heck? There we go. Back to it. Oh, yeah. If you have Winston plus one other DPS, you can do it. If you have 2 DPS, you can do it. Just Winston solo struggles.
And Mercy, follow me in.
Yeah, so here you dove in, you made space, but you didn't dive on anything, and then this Zarya is just going to pressure you out. And you also used your bubble before this jump, didn't you? I didn't even catch that the first time. Ugh, yeah.
I'm low.
You look, yeah. And so a defensive bubble, yuck.
I'm low, can I heal it?
So you're going to be jumping in, having used your bubble defensively, which means that when you arrive, you're not going to have it to protect yourself. This is, yikes. I didn't even see this the first playthrough because that is so bad. It just didn't even cross my mind that there might even been an action you've done.
Diving point. Follow me in.
Yeah. Just wait 6 seconds.
Mercy, follow me in.
You need that bubble. Your Winston bubble will not contend with a Rhine barrier. Your Winston bubble will not contend with an Orisa barrier. Your Winston bubble is not to block damage. It's to block things, cooldowns, hooks, sleep darts, anti-nades, shit like that. It's not to block damage. It's not to protect your team. Unless there's things like Diva Bomb, but I would consider that blocking a cooldown. So your bubble's not for blocking damage. It's bad at that. And it's on a very fucking long cooldown. Don't do it.
Zarya, no personal. Putting bubble down. Alright, Zarya, no grab. Nice, nice, nice. I'm on Mercy, 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 Mercy. Mercy dead, Mercy dead.
A little bit of map knowledge there.
Alright, Primal.
That ledge catches so many beginners, not knowing that you can't jump out of it. Primal control isn't terrible.
No, never mind.
I think it's good enough for the elo you're at.
That was a close fight, though. We did good.
We did well. You're not a vigilante. Well, actually, I guess you are a superhero, aren't you?
Let's not get tilted, boys. Come on.
Wow. My normal grammar comeback just misfired.
Treat them with fairness.
Wait, you literally are a vigilante since Overwatch is up.
I would say, honestly, Mercy, just play around sightlines and try to avoid the Widow.
I guess in Overwatch you did good is grammatically
I
correct.
have a big head box. Wait, where's the Widow firing from right now?
Sick jump.
I screwed up. I jumped. Never mind.
If you are going to poke here, just don't poke the... There are times when you need to break through Zarya bubbles. Poking at the choke as Winston is not one of them. You should honestly never poke at the choke, especially against Zarya bubbles as Winston. But alas, here we are.
Alright, we all here? Diving through. I'm on Soldier. That's a point.
Why did you leave the soldier?
Alright, we all here? Diving through. I'm on Soldier.
Am I missing something?
Diving through. I'm on Soldier.
I'm trying to think of any possible reason you would have to leave this soldier. No one made a call for help?
Alright, we all here? Diving through. I'm on Soldier.
Okay. Interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. There's still 50 seconds remaining. First off, did anyone see, prior to the dive happening, did anyone see the mistake that was not charging Zarya's? Did anyone see the opportunity for a dive that was not this soldier? Did anyone see that? Was not the bubble. Ooh, somebody turtled. Turtle turd. Turtle turd got it right. If you look closely, Widow used her grapple and was pursued by the Genji. Right.
Alright, we all here?
Is it Turtle Turd? Did I get your name right? Yes, it is Turtle Turd. Right here. This is a Widowmaker who just grappled, and Genji is dashing after her. Perfect opportunity to assist him with the dive. This fight, if you actually watch, so this fight, if you were in Grandmaster, would be over in like 1.5 seconds. But it's actually amusing to me how long it actually takes for this Genji to kill this Widow. And it takes him so long, he says fuck it and whips out his Dragon Blade. So 6:59 is when that dive
Diving
starts.
through. I'm on Soldier.
After 7 seconds, Genji decides fuck it and pulls out his blade. I find that hilarious. But anyway. Okay, so let's talk about fighting this soldier. Soldier's healing station does 40 HP. You damage people at 60, like 40 HP per second healed, 60 HP per second damage. That's you. You should know with his healing station up, you're still doing 20 DPS, and you only need to get him down to like just barely above 1 bar before you can melee to finish him off. But on top of this, he's not running away from you, which he should be doing. He should kite you, then drop healing station. But the Mercy's on you, and the Mercy's damage boost is 30%, so you very easily clear through it. You do, with damage boost, 78, so 38 damage per second through Soldier's healing, which means that this guy's dead. And not only that, did he stayed in one place long enough for you to actually get your jump back up, which means that even if he tries to run away from you, you can jump to pursue to finish him off. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse because I don't know why you didn't actually just finish this soldier off, but securing kills is one of the most important aspects for any hero. Eliminations are what wins games. This is kind of one of the reasons why people think that DPS is the class of which it's easiest to carry on, because they're the guys at the end of the day that get the eliminations. So Winston needs to secure kills onto squishy targets like this. You letting him go here, first off, it endangers your Mercy, and second off, it allows this guy to stay in the fight. You know, you didn't kill him, so he's going to get either his own more ult charge of his own by healing himself up, or a support is going to heal him up. He's going to contribute more to the fight. He might be able to reposition. He, in turn, might frag somebody else, or frag multiples if he gets his tactical visor. So this isn't just letting a kill go. This isn't just like a +1 or a -1. A +1 or a -1, when I'm talking about in this situation, is 1 death or 1 resurrect. That's like a plus or a minus. So this isn't just a missed opportunity for a +1 in that you would go up 1 in terms of numbers. This is potentially a -1 or a -2 in the fact that if this soldier kills anyone else in this team fight, it's your fault. And you just leave him.
That's the point.
T2ers. God damn it.
Soldier.
There's always one. There's always one a stream.
That's the point.
Here it comes, that tactical visor.
We get low. Nice, nice, nice.
Ah, your Genji
All right,
got him.
guys. Well
nice.
done.
I think lower ranked people get
I love you
antsy when
too,
a fight goes on too
LSWH.
long without anyone dying.
That. All right.
Fair enough. That's just something you need to work out of your play then.
All right. So anyone who can't jump, go through main. I think the rest of us should go around left. Okay. Arisa, would you mind switching to Diva so we could have a more mobile tank for the second point? Actually, maybe not. Stick on Arisa. Stick on Arisa. Actually, we don't really have an anchor tank. I'm fine with that. I'm sorry, I just wasted your ult, but yeah, that's my bad. Alright, Rhino charge, Rhino charge. Punish the Rhine, punish the Rhine. Almost at Primal. I'm diving their backline. From the Zarya. Get in there. Force Valk.
Oh, you used your second jump. Oh no. Did you need a bubble against a Brigida?
Ah, I couldn't make it out. Never mind. Oh, thank you, Messi. Bless that shit. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you blocked it.
Isn't that a shame? Alright, that's a lost fight. Back out, back out. Messi, let him kill you, let him kill you. Alright.
Chat, what do you think his problem is? I'm interested. A lot of shit happened there, and talks too much is not an answer. If you're gonna say that comms are his problem, you have to say something specific about his comms being fucked. We'll go to the room here in King's Row so that chat, once this is on YouTube, they can kind of see what chat thinks is his problem. What do you guys think? Wrong dive target? Was there a dive target? There's no focus. True. He's not really calling out what target he's going on. Target prioritization? Cooldown management? That one's an issue. Didn't realize the fight was lost much earlier. At this elo, I don't think... yes. At this elo, though... crazier things have happened. I've become more lenient in my opinion of the need to regroup at the lower elos. I think that's it's a great habit to be in, to constantly regroup, especially on 2CP. But I've recently changed my opinion about the necessity of regroup after a single pick, both in terms of pro and semi-pro play, as long as your win condition is alive. So now I'm basing... actually, this is a great segue. I'm basing the need to regroup instead of based on an arbitrary number, like it's a 6v5 or something right now. It's a great rule of thumb. It'll get you 90% of the way. But, for example, you can be 3v6, but if one is one is a Mercy, one is a Hanzo, and one is a Zarya, then your win condition is still intact. So I think regrouping is less to do about numbers and more to do about win conditions. And honestly, it kind of feels like it took me a surprisingly long time to realize that. But yeah, so with that in mind, I think it's less important, especially at the lower elos, to constantly regroup. You know, if you had your Valk Blade and the opponent doesn't have a Zenyatta, then going in one down is okay, because you'll still win. So. He's on dives. He's on tanks too much, yes. Yes, Darth has got the most accurate, I think, description of what I was thinking. He tunnels one target and then just randomly runs away to tunnel another target. Yeah, this is goldfish syndrome, right? So his target priority... it's not his target priority. So a lot of people in chat said target priority. And the reason why I don't think his target priority is the problem, because it's just because straight up, I don't think he's prioritizing any one target over the other person. I think he's seeing red people and going zap, 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 have some lightning. Pew, pew, I'm Harry Potter. Target priority comes down to kind of what target you're focusing, but it doesn't seem like he's seeking out or consciously attacking a singular target. He's attacking the tanks because he sees them first, because the tanks are on the front line. But if he knows that there's a Mercy or a Widowmaker, then, especially if he knows he has Primal, then he should be using that Primal to actively seek out and just completely demolish the Widowmaker. But he's not. So target priority would be assuming that he's putting thought into which target he's attacking, which I don't think he is. The main problem that I think exists with this Winston player is that he's not trying to finish or confirm kills. He's also doing most things solo, in the fact that it's extremely difficult, especially in the new meta, for Winston to be able to finish targets. So you can't play as easily a solo disruptor kind of flanker fragger Winston style. Instead, you do have to kind of couple with at least one other member on your team, and as you get higher, that number is going to have to increase and increase and increase. In order to beat a Brigitte comp, you need to have 6-man target focus and priority, and you all working together to eliminate that one target. But you don't have that, and you do have a Genji on your team. So there needs to be more conscious thought about like who are the divers on my team? Who can assist me with this dive? Are they going to assist me? Are they on comms? How are we going to work together? Which targets between the two of us are we best suited to take out? Where is that target? Okay, let's go find them, kill them. Now we can go on to the less optimal targets because the optimal targets for us are already dead. But what was your Genji doing during this fight?
Eraser, actually. We don't really have an anchor attack. I'm fine with that.
Where is
Sorry,
your
I just
Genji?
wasted your ult, but yeah.
And your Genji's on fire too, right? Your Genji is on your Genji's on fire. He's carrying your team, and you're still not putting into consideration where he is or what he's doing.
That's my bad. Alright, Rhino charge, punish the Rhine.
So he does die immediately to a Brigitte.
Almost at Primal. I'm diving their backline. Lazaria.
That was not their backline. And then using this Primal here. Like Lost Fight is one thing. But you used your Primal just to kind of, like the usage of your Primal here was just to put yourself back onto high ground. You basically used it as a way to shorten your jump cooldown. So huge waste of Primal. It is good that you focused the Mercy here.
Get in there. Force Valk.
Okay, so you're jumping on this soldier, right? So see how far away you are from the soldier when you land? You get a tiny hit marker. I'm actually not sure if your landing pad damage hit him. Oh, it did. Just barely. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this, but Winston's landing damage does 45 damage. That's the part that everybody knows, that when Winston lands on somebody, he does 45 damage, okay? 45. What a lot of people don't know about Winston's jump is that it has fall off. So you only get 45 damage if you practically fucking Goomba stomp them. Unless you land on their head or you step on their toes, they're not taking that full 45 damage. They're taking way less. Way less. So especially when jumping on targets, being accurate with your jumps is extremely important, especially on Winston, who needs to have a little bit of burst, right? So if we're talking about 45 damage, your gun does 60 DPS. So if you actually land your landing pack damage on somebody, it reduces your time to kill by 3/4 of a second. That's fucking massive. So, yeah, you need to be landing your jumps a lot closer to the targets.
Ah, I couldn't make it out. Never mind. Oh, thank you, Messi.
No, it's 45. It's not 50, it's 45. I too thought it was 50. And then I actually went into the training range and tested it. It's 45, I assure you.
Bless that shit.
I used to think it was 50 as well, but it's 45.
I'm not ashamed. Alright, that's a lost fight. Back out, back out.
Wow, somebody in chat arrived at their own conclusion. How often does Winston's shock tick? Could you potentially Tesla melee land for a bit more damage? So, I'm sure I've gone over this in other videos, but I will say it again. Canceling melee with landing damage in any combination does not increase your damage, right? So, your melee does 30 damage, and every single melee in the game has a half-second cooldown. So you can melee twice a second for 30 damage each melee, which is 60 damage per second, and Tesla Cannon does 60 damage per second. So if you can land your melees onto a target, it's actually more efficient to be doing so because you use less ammo, reload less often. But against armor, it's way more efficient because melees only get reduced by 5 damage overall, going to 25 damage per strike, versus Tesla Cannon, whose damage gets reduced in half. Oh, excuse me. Oh, Briggs melee, Ryan's melee, and Torbjorn's melee, those are weapons. Those aren't melees. They're melee attacks using weapons. I don't really count them as melees.
Musty, let him kill you. Let him kill you. All right.
Welcome to the channel. I hope you're enjoying it, Maritima.
Further experimentation required.
All right, we kind of had a bit of a scattered attack plan there, so we need something more concrete. Let's try to take that high ground. We'll be very effective from up there. Because they have, you know, they got the Widow, they got the Soldier. If they're on high ground, they have a clear advantage, so we need to take them.
Am I getting that wrong? Somebody in chat says melee does 60 DPS, isn't it? Oh, boy. To be fair, I'm going to Overwatch. The standard melee attack is an ability that does 30 points of damage and is active for 0.5 seconds. Oh, there's a cooldown before it can be used again. So, you're right. I didn't know this part. So, constantly meleeing is lower, but weaving your melees into Winston's gun, because it's the 30 point of damage and it's active for 0.5 seconds, that is... So, weaving your melees into your Tesla Cannon is equivalent DPS, but constantly meleeing, there's a cooldown on melee. I actually learned something. I didn't know this. So, weaving your melees into your Tesla Cannon, same DPS. Constantly meleeing, not. Thanks for bringing that up. Who was it who typed that one? Who was it who typed that? Literally Twitch chat. That's actually the guy's name. Literally Twitch chat. Does the cooldown start? Well, guess we're testing. Let's test and make sure we've got the right info.
Imagination is the essence of despair.
No, so the 1 second cooldown, it's 500 milliseconds after its activation. So that's once a second.
Unfortunate.
Yes, you can melee once every second. So it's active for half a second, and then the cooldown is half a second afterwards that. So.
Survival of the fittest.
Okay. Yeah, it's half a second active, half a second recovery. So it is the same DPS as Tesla, weaving it in. Okay. Oh, and while we're talking about melee stuff, a lot of people don't know this, but you're punching it. When we're talking about melee is active for half a second, that part of melee means that you can do things like this, right? So you can punch and then hit people. So you can be looking in the exact opposite direction and hit them. So when you see people like me right-click meleeing into grav, the reason they're doing that is because right-click is AoE, punch is also AoE, and people don't realize that. So even if you punch there and turn faster, it will still strike them. So that's just... people don't know that. It's not the same DPS as Tesla. Weaving melee into Tesla should be the same DPS as just using Tesla in general. Why are you disagreeing with this, Disquid? Yeah, it's half the DPS if you're doing it on its own. If you're doing it on its own, it's half the DPS, right? But if you're weaving it into your Teslas, it's the same. Why are you disagreeing with this? Which one? Game sense, positioning, or aim? I don't understand your question. Yeah, so shooting, like, you can shoot during the cooldown of your melee, right? So it's not like you can't shoot for the full second. You can shoot during the cooldown of melee. Yeah, if you still disagree, you're wrong, because we just tested it, but to each their own, I guess. If that's something you like being is wrong, then who am I to disagree? Okay. Epic Pen. I use Epic Pen.
If I can have some healing, please? I'm quite low.
So against armor, the melee actually adds DPS?
And
Yes.
alright, they have no res. They have no res.
Yes, against
Left
armor, it
side,
adds
put the pressure
DPS.
on them. I fell out. Got mine in that.
Animation cancel on Winston with the melee and the jumping, like the landing damage, does not give you extra DPS. The delay is still there.
I think one of them is alone. One of them is alone on high ground on right side. Let's try to focus that. I'm not sure who it is. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, Widow, Brigitte, and Mercy are all alone on high ground. I'm on them. I'm on Mercy. Focus Brigitte, Brigitte. She's low, she's low, she's low. Nice, Brigitte no ult. Soldier no ult. I don't know why I said that. He probably does have ult. Focus Mercy, Mercy, Mercy.
If you're gonna go for the aerial kill, at least commit.
Keeping Zarya off point.
That was so half-hearted, it saddens me. Sick boop onto him into the pit.
Focus that soldier, soldier, nice. Mercy, 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 Mercy. Mercy dead. Good job, guys. Alright. Focus that Zarya, Zarya, Zarya. Oh, use Ryan. Lucio, Lucio. Good job, good job, good job. Oh god, they are stalling this out. Alright, I'm on the McCree. I'm just gonna keep him off point. Can I heal him, please? I'm quite low. Oh my god. Oh, thank you, Messi. I primal again.
If you, what is Winston's movement speed in Primal? Who knows this? Go, don't look it up. Don't look it up. You fucking cheaters. So many of you just tabbed out to go look it up. Winston's move speed in Primal is... Oh, so close. So close. There was a 7.2 and a 7 posted in chat, but I'm pretty sure it's 7.1. Ooh. Cantor. I think Cantor got it right. I'm pretty sure it's 7.1. Oh no. I want to watch your defense anyway. 7.1. Tracer's movement speed. Tracer's movement speed when moving backwards is 5.5. So you can actually catch up to Tracer pretty easily. And I don't usually like to use my leap unless she goes significantly out of my distance. So against Tracer, right, you can do the short jump on Winston. And the short jump is where you hold S and you do your jump. So if we hold S and do jump like this, you can go... I thought you could go like 8 meters. Is it really only 10? Whoop. Yeah, so 9-ish, I guess. So you can go 9 meters is Winston's shortest jump, even in Primal, right? So even in Primal, you can go 8, 9 meters on the shortest jump. So if Tracer is at this distance, like 7.5 meters or farther away from you, and you're in Primal, yes, jump after her, because it will force a blink. But if not, you actually gain on Tracer by almost 2 meters per second. If we include the Tracer not exactly retreating in a straight line, you should be closing the distance at almost 2 meters per second against a Tracer. And that should threaten her to use blinks. And then after she's out of resources, she's a complete easy kill. So instead of taking the Primal versus Tracer fight in terms of like, I need to kill her as quick as I can, you take the Primal versus Tracer fight as in terms of wasting her resources and then killing her once she's like a Magikarp and just kind of flopping around there. So, just some ideas. If you could choose one, which would you choose? Good game sense, good aim, or good positioning? Good aim, because I don't have it and I want it, and I think that having good aim would be just such a nice thing.
You know? You're almost there.
Once more.
Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
You could start the animation cancel before you reach the enemy. Even though the full animation time is 0.5 meters per second, you were in range of the enemy for only... Nope. Because your Tesla cannon range is 7 meters? Why wouldn't you just Tesla before you land on them? I disagree, Zenkai. If you are in range to... so what you're saying is that because melee has a 0.5 second activation time, that you can start your melee before you arrive on them with your landing damage, so that in the last millisecond of your melee, it hits, and then you land, and then you start Teslaing. But there's no reason you can't just Tesla people before you land on them, because Tesla's range is 7 meters, I think. So, no, you're wrong. Oh, I wanted to see you play Winston on defense. I don't know why I expected that. I know the VOD said Reinhardt, but still. How do you control the distance of your shifts most accurately? Holding S.
It would be amazing, and I don't mind about the flex
My
support.
God, this audio.
Moira, Zen, Zen is ideal. But,
Make a custom game with Lucios that can't heal themselves and have 70 HP. Excuse me. Seriously, if you want to practice Winston, 0 cooldown on your leap, Lucios that can't heal themselves with 70 HP. Or I guess if you're doing the 70 HP, you could have them healing themselves. So they will only be one shot if you do the landing damage in the melee cancel almost perfectly. Having it at 75 isn't going to work, because if you do like 74, they still won't die. So put the Lucio's health to 70 HP and just practicing landing your jumps on them over and over again. If the melee animation doesn't add DPS, why does everyone always tell me to do it? So you can make some... There's this really obscure argument about burst, where... this is like a really theoretical argument, but if you have burst damage and continuous damage, even if they have the exact same times to kill, which is more effective against healing? Think about it this way. Yes, it's burst. So if you can do, 200 damage per second against Transcendence, it's fucking useless. If you can do 200 damage every second, Transcendence is useless. So the reason you do the burst combo on landing people isn't to get more DPS, it's for the healing to be applied to your target starting later. So if you just start Teslaing a soldier who's standing in his healing station, right? So if a soldier places his healing station, if you start Tesla cannoning him, at what health does his healing station start to be effective? 199. As soon as soldier reaches 199 health, his healing station starts providing him value. If you land your combo on him and you put him to 135, at what health does his healing station start providing him value? 135. So it's not that it's more damage, it's that it's more burst, and burst is better against healing.
Whatever works best for you. Hey, nice. You know. Oh, you know. Absolutely. We got Jonak in here.
What's with the voice impression?
Just like in training.
Not Korean, obviously. Boombox them. I respect that. More like Shaz. Yeah. Shaz is underrated. I love Shaz.
It's an amount of damage over different lengths of time. Burst does more damage in a short time, but not burst does more damage overall. But non-burst does more damage overall. That's a game decision. That's a game design decision. Burst type heroes or spaceships, since my background is in EVE Online, burst type weaponry in any type of game, in order to be balanced, needs to have a lower damage over time and lower damage per second.
Not enough people talk about Shaz.
As usual.
Everything is going pretty well, Nico-chan. Thanks for asking.
Attackers incoming. 30 seconds.
Do you think PC rigs matter when it comes to mechanical skill? For tracking, yes. Flicking, less so. But yes. I would be lying if I told you that the quality of your PC, and at the end of the day, it's the frames. The frames you get matters in terms of being a better DPS player. But as everyone's always going to bring up, EQO made it to rank 1 playing on 30 FPS laptop, so it's not preventing you from reaching GM, it's just making it harder. How did I not discover you till now? Because I haven't been around for very long. I'm still really new at streaming, dude. I'm still really new at streaming. EQO is a god, though? Exactly. So, it's possible if you're EQO.
Stay calm
For everyone
and
else, it's
choke.
just going to be easier if you have a nice computer.
Stay behind my shield. It is here to protect you. Okay, they got a Junkrat on left side. He's hailing us with all right.
Okay, so I'm going to say, I wasn't going to say it. Calls imply action. How many times have I gone through a VOD without saying those 3 words? A shot calling VOD or a team VOD. I always end up saying these same 3 words. Calls imply action. If you're calling something out, then it needs to be something that someone on your team needs to either act on or act differently because of. So if you, for example, say Tracer left, something like that, then your Zen should be like, oh, the Tracer's left, I'll rotate right. Or I'll play nearer to my Mercy. Or I'll go by this health pack. Or something like that. Or Zarya implies the action of please shoot the fucking Zarya. But what exactly does this call imply to your team?
Stay behind my shield. It is here to protect you.
That's fine. Stay behind my shield. It is here to protect you. If the person didn't realize that they had a shield, they'd be like, I guess I should stand behind Reinhardt's shield. Good call. Not a super necessary call since it was pretty fucking obvious, since you are Mr. Rectangle Man, but whatever. I'm going to classify that as a good call.
Okay, they got a Junkrat on left side. He's hailing us with all right.
They've got a Junkrat. Shut the fuck up. Good enough. The only part of that callout that would have had action tied to it is they've got a Junkrat. Or just Junkrat. So, brevity is an important part of communication, is getting the important information across as quickly as possible. You say things in too many words, which is why at the very start I called you not an air traffic controller, but it's like you're a flight attendant. Junkrat. That's the only call that's necessary here so that people know that the opponent has Junkrat, and their action is to, if they are weak to Junkrat or are strong against Junkrat, they can now understand there is a Junkrat in play and they can plan accordingly.
Okay, they got a Junkrat on left side.
Left side's fine, I guess, if it was really necessary. It's through the choke. You can't capitalize on it. He's not flanking, so he's not a threat. Is him being on left compared to being on the right going to imply any different action? Probably not. So that one's marginal.
He's hailing us with
He's hailing with us with spamming. That part, that's kind of just what Junkrat does.
all right. Alright, shield's on half. When I put my shield down, just try. I'm gonna let you know when I put my shield down. Just try to stay behind cover. I don't want to give up too much energy.
Good call.
Sorry, bubble me. Just want to give you some energy.
You either need to keep track of the Zarya bubble cooldown yourself or ask her. Now, it sounds like you're the only person who's been talking all game, so you probably need to keep track of it yourself, or just, yeah, you're probably going to have to keep track of it yourself.
Careful of the junk trap. Nice job, nice job. Focus that monkey.
Does anyone remember what red team did to blue team when we were attacking? Right? So you got their Junkrat. The primary threat to you in the form of damage is now dead. They have 2 healers, and the D.Va is out of mech. Just go forward and murder them. Please, just murder them. I don't care if they have families. Please, just kill them. Right? There's so many times where you just, like, menacingly look at people's shield with 500 health. Like, the Winston was discorded. Even if you run at him swinging your hammer, or make the call that, hey, let's push into them, the Winston, at the very least, is going to have to use his cooldowns. You might be able to catch somebody out. You're going to get ult charge. There's no reason for you not to be just going fucking ham wild on these kids.
Nice job. Nice job, Mercy, taking out the Widow. God. It's like next 2 now.
It's such a plat thing to me to grab a choke when you're up in numbers. It's just the plattest thing I've seen all day.
I'm getting a bit greedy. I'm
The classic Roadhog hook with no ammo. Love it.
getting out.
Okay, I was going to say that, like, it's actually kind of amusing to me how many Reinhardts actually. So, like, look at your shield health here. So you're at 1340 shield, and then they've all been killed, so you can just regenerate your shield. But look at how many times you needlessly flash your shield to prevent it from regenerating. Because every time you flash your shield, even if the shield takes no damage, it prevents it from recharging. So you shield here, you shield there, you shield there. You were just constantly flashing shield for no real purpose. So I was gonna bitch if you kept doing it, but you finally let it go and recharged up to 2000. So this is a very common Rhine mistake, is people will flash shield or they'll drop shield for a good amount of time, but then be like, I'm taking chip damage. And then at exactly the same moment that the shield would have actually started regenerating health, they flash it for just a second and be like, oh, but my shield's weak. And then they drop it, but they were like, oh, but I'm taking chip damage. And then they're like, oh, but my shield's weak. And then you just go through this infinite cycle till you die. Okay, just at some point you just need to let your shield charge to full. And if you do drop your shield, commit to dropping your shield. Take a little bit more damage than necessary if it allows you to put your shield up for longer. So if there's no threat to you being directly eliminated, then you can have your shield down for a pretty significant amount of time before you put it back up. And then putting it back up should decrease the damage to a point where your healers can actually top you back up. But this persistent flashing is only good in very specific situations, usually for mobility. Sometimes it's the only time you really, really want to flash is when you want some combination of mobility and tank in the form of shield hopping. It's nice that you dodged the hook. Your job is also to protect everyone else from that hook. If you get hooked, that's fine. You've got a fuck ton of armor that makes the Reinhardt's shotgun like 41% less effective, or something, nearly 40% less effective. If you get hooked, you're probably the least. If you get hooked, that's not a big deal, especially since they're running dive tanks, right? The Winston, the Diva, and the Roadhog are all doing severely reduced damage against you. So if you get hooked, a Zarya discorded with no armor getting hooked is a fucking bad day at the office. So if anyone's going to eat the hook, it should be you. And dodging the hook is not the goal. Your shield, just like Winston's bubble, needs to block cooldowns like this. So Winston's bubble is meant to block cooldowns. Reinhardt's shield is to block damage in order to take position or space and cooldowns. It's not one or the other. For Reinhardt, it's both. Did I say Reinhardt instead of Roadhog again? I have never thought that I was dyslexic until I started streaming. And so many people point out all of my mistakes with my words. I swear I'm dyslexic.
You guys are destroying them this round.
Man, look at all that huge, massive amounts of damage that Roadhog did to you.
Okay, I'm getting a bit greedy. Yeah, that was my bad. I was just getting overconfident. But it looks like you guys are taking care of it anyway. And she's resin me. What a god team I've got here on this final day. Alright, put my shield down.
Huge! He did 40 damage to you. Did you see how much that damage that Roadhog did to you? He did 40 damage to you. That was so scary. You almost died.
Alright, put my shield down.
Oh, I was wrong. 63. He did 63 damage to you? Just making a point.
Yeah, come here. Back out, back out, back out, back out, back out. Shield going down, shield down.
Oh no, you didn't back off into... No! This is so...
Me,
There's a Mega right behind
Yeah.
you! No! Map awareness, please! You could have lived this. You could have lived this. Oh man. Oh man. You could have lived. Yeah. There's a Mega not like one step behind you. And the Mercy was healing. If you had just stepped back before you charged, you would have survived. Like, oh man, that's so unfortunate. Knowing where health packs are and where doors are and the ability to like back up through through doors onto health packs without looking at them is pretty important. And that's one of the more important things in terms of like map knowledge. Let me look for a specific VOD. I'll just show one example of kind of like blinking onto with the tracer for especially. I'm gonna be looking for. Hi friends. Hope you're having a great. Oh god, no, I'm not having a great day. Is it in this fight here? Was it a different time? Okay, found it. So just an example, right? So this is me playing Tracer fighting a Widowmaker, and I get shot by something. I don't remember what it is, or I don't even know where the volume control is on Media Player. Jeepers. Oh, it's right here. So I'm fighting this Widowmaker, and I get hit by something. So I recall, blink over here, and boom. I think I get headshot by a partially charged shot. So here I'm at 62 health, right? I'm at 62 health, and I'm fighting a Widowmaker. And I know that I can't keep fighting this duel below 120 HP, where a body shot will kill me. So immediately blind blink onto the Mega. So if I had to look at where the actual health pack was to blink onto it, I'd waste time, right? So I get shot. I know I can't re-engage on this Widow being below 120 health. So just immediately my reaction, boom, grab the Mega. And then re-engage on the Widowmaker. And apparently I melee air and then kill her. So just gotta know where the health packs are. Apparently I was listening to Raw Rasputin while fragging at that point in time. Who knew? Wasn't he doing the shield flash against Whole Hog? I thought he was.
On this final day. Alright, put my shield down. Yeah, come here. Back out, back out, back out, back out, back out. Shield going down, shield down.
Oh, you really didn't? Okay. Yeah, this is a pretty common tech, and this has been posted on Reddit constantly in the last couple of days. Like, this was posted on Reddit very recently, wasn't it? And I think it was in like a one tip for every hero guide as well. But the thing is that Whole Hog's knockback only applies to you when it hits you. It doesn't knock you back when you have your shield up. So the idea is that you jump, and then while you're in the air, you flash your shield off, then back on again. And that gives you just a little bit of a knockback, but it constantly clears you from the Whole Hog. So Whole Hog has a spread, and a very significant spread at that. And Whole Hog's spread pattern... Ooh, here's a question for you. Does anyone know Whole Hog's spread pattern? Somebody just wrote the number 5. Okay. Yes, 5 circles. Well, more people know that than I expected. It just 5 circles. Like this. It's horizontal. It's not an oval shape, which a lot of people look, but it's 5 circles in a line. So, and it's quite a significant spread, but it has no fall off. So the farther away you can get from the Whole Hog, the less damage you'll take, not from fall off, but because of spread. So if you just like flash your shield, it sends you back in a much more controlled manner, and you could have used that to get back through the choke. Oh, I taught it already. Oh, okay, so regulars already know.
Yeah,
I see why so many of you know the
I
answer.
shouldn't have gone out there.
Wow, our VOD command isn't updated? That sucks.
Oh, nice job, soldier.
Here they!
60 seconds remaining.
Can we hold that? I have shatter. I can come in and take him out.
They are taking our point.
It's huge. Oh, maybe not. Oh, maybe it is.
What is the error here in this exact frame? Yeah. Ooh, Varian got it. I mean, this frame. Like, yes, the entire hammer phase was fucked to all hell because we could have just fire striked, we could have hammered, but What is the cool thing about charge? What is the what is it? Okay, what is one of the cool things about charge? Nah, it's not one hot shot. Yes, it's 300 damage. You can steer it. Yeah, that's cool. You're getting all this wrong. There we go. Funhammer got it. It's 50 damage on anything that you boop away from you, but it is not 50 damage on the thing you actually pin. So if you boop somebody away, they take 50 damage, and then if you pin them, they do 300. But if you just like straight connect a pin, that initial 50 damage doesn't apply. So the actual like pinning of somebody doesn't do 50 damage. You only like putting them into a wall does the 300. So this target that we pinned here at like 1 HP, if at this moment charge was the correct decision, which it was not, if we had pinned somebody else but been close enough to this target, we would have gotten 2 kills off of our charge.
Huge! Well, maybe not. Oh, maybe it is.
So you could have done a free 300 damage to one of the tanks while still killing the mini diva.
Oh, dear. Never mind, boys. That was a really good hold. We did a good job. We did a good...
You get really quick at recognizing the health of targets once you've done enough hammers. Knowing which combination of hammers and fire strikes you need to kill everyone most efficiently. You hammer enough people, you get really fucking quick at identifying that.
Good job.
You already have one fun hammer.
Peace be upon you. Greetings.
You know it, baby. I indeed have hammered many people.
Right, somebody's on point. I'm diving the point. Come on, Mercy.
I swear to God, if I ever hear the phrase "I'm diving the point" again, I'm just gonna have just start twitching in my chair. The point is a place, not a target.
Right, somebody's on point. I'm diving the point. Come on, Mercy.
So triggering. Nice melee. That like that. When I'm talking about how I win games and things like that, I talk quite frequently, especially when I'm like memeing on alt accounts or whatnot. I still remember pretty early into the stream, I was playing Mercy, and I was being just a complete dumbass in Grandmaster. It was like a 4100 game or something like that, and I was doing stupid shit like nudging my Widowmaker off of edges and things like this, and just, you know, we were all in comms, the team was having fun, and we were just memeing around and doing stupid shit. I knew who the Widowmaker player was, so we were just laughing and having a good time and just fucking around and doing stupid shit, and we were just dominating this game. And chat, I remember there was one particular person in chat who was very, very angry to the point of just like I remember this so vividly because of how upset that this person was that I was having fun while very easily winning a Grandmaster game. And the thing you have to realize is that about 90% of your actions don't matter. Just straight up don't matter. But there's always going to be a very few key points in the game that really truly are turning points, that if you succeed in that exact moment, it's going to give you minutes off the clock, ticks on the capture point, things like that. So in that specific game, we shaped up when we needed to. I used my ultimate when I needed to, and when I didn't need to, I was just being a little bit sillier than usual. So, in this game here, your attack was a fucking train wreck. The dive onto the point, onto an arbitrary target to do things. Though that was weird and fucked. But none of that mattered. The 90% of the shit you did, which was legitimately shit, didn't matter because you killed the Mercy. And that is the 10% that actually mattered. Okay? So recognizing what actually matters and when these events are actually going to occur is important to seeking out victories so that you are most impactful and you're not missing these opportunities or underperforming during these opportunities that are actual critical turning points in a game. So, at this point in time, it doesn't matter what you did previously to killing that Mercy, because killing that Mercy won this fight. Done. End of story. Done. It's just done. So, take this knowledge that that is what you need to do and go into these fights with a plan or objective of how you can most swiftly win an engagement. And then seek out those opportunities. And every time you make a mistake, you are creating one of those 10% opportunities for your opponents.
Onward and
Alright, that's a one fight. Get him out of here. Show him the door.
You do not have to be always on. Nope. You don't have to be on for even half the fucking time you're playing, unless you're a DPS. DPS put a lot more, have a lot more on their plate than the tanks and supports. Tanks and supports definitely have actions that are way more important than others. DPS need to more consistently perform.
Where's the hog at? I hear that hog.
Is Vade around chat? This is brutal. This is brutal? You must be new here.
Good job, boys. The soldiers on left high ground. He's coming up here. They got a lot of spam damage. Try to stay out of the choke. You're gonna give him a lot of ult charge.
Mr. Destructoid. You're gonna give him a lot of ult charge. Proceeds to walk into a Junkrat. Perfect. Don't worry, I will feed them ult charge on your behalf.
Oh no, I'm not long for this world. Goodbye, everyone. Don't go to res me. You're gonna get killed. Yeah, that's fine. There's a lot of people up there, but you guys seem to be doing fine anyways.
That was like 2 yikes moments right in a fucking row. Ah, close. Almost knocked him into the pit. Yes!
Get out of town.
No! Yes! No!
Thank you for that res, Mercy. You perfect. You beautiful. Mercy's corner. She got no.
Hey, you did it! The 10%. We did it!
I'm getting the Junkrat from the
Oh,
outside. He got
man.
no. Hello there.
I consider violence a last resort.
Can I have some healing, please, babes? Thank you very much. Mwah.
We did it! We did it!
Yeah, we got Zenzel going into this fight, but that's kind of about it. So play conservative. What do they have? They probably got Primal.
Can this
They
be
haven't-
your
they actually
stream?
probably don't
My
do it.
entire
Just-
review is just going to be
They got a lot of
being
new- they got a lot of new
yes.
people coming in.
No.
And Soldier and Moira used ult last round. Not sure about Hog or Brigida, so watch out for Hog. Alright, dropping
I shall just observe this fight instead of participating in it. Fight, peons. Fight for my amusement.
Point. Moira in a fade. There's the Moira.
Your sensitivity is nuts. And I don't even realize how crazy high your sensitivity is until you do these vertical jumps. Because for a split second, I keep thinking you fucking teleport. Like... Is there even a single frame between you looking up and then back down? There's 3 frames. Oh my god. I would dislocate my shoulder moving my arm that fast. It's so funny. Up, down. Wow. That's pretty good. And you're playing Winston. It's not like your aim really matters that much as long as you hit him. But if you do play other targets, like fire striking accurately is going to probably be hard on Ryan for you. So you're playing characters that I'm not going to nitpick about, but if you're over like 15k EDPI on Winston, you may want to consider toning it down because it'll help your fire strikes on Reinhardt and your primals on Winston. Doesn't really matter, but it's on the high end,
Nice
and it's
job,
pretty
Reaper.
funny.
I'm on the Moira. Wearing a fade. Oh, I don't think there's much I can do about that. Nice, Diva.
They just got 3 kills into overtime spawns. You lose.
Oh no.
Team kill.
Oh, that's close.
You lost because of overtime spawns. That sucks. Good VOD, though. By far, the most thing you need to work on is not target prioritization. Like, target prioritization, yeah, kind of. But we're going to take that a step farther back and saying you need to realize how you are going to win a fight instead of just playing the game. I feel like on attack, you're pressing W until you counter enemies and then just like using cooldowns until the opponent hopefully disappears. And then on defense, you're kind of like, well, I'm going to lose if I don't do something, so let's do... And then you fucking roll a dice and be like, it's a 6. That means I'm going to jump on point. Okay, so you need to be more identifying how you yourself are going to be contributing to the fight or assisting somebody else in contributing to the fight more. So if you have a Genji, for example, are you yourself going to be playing more of a solo Winston style because nobody in chat comms, or are you going to assist your Genji with whatever he's attacking? So, like, yes, target prioritization, but you need to figure out which target you're attacking based on what your win condition is. And then you need to tone your comms down to more relevant information, or people are just going to mute you because your comms aren't... the things that you are saying aren't important enough. And you are more than welcome to talk as much as you are right now, but if you're going to do that, the things that you are saying need to become more important because there is a shit ton of important stuff going on that you are just not talking about because you're too busy talking about like Junkrat spamming random shit at me, and things like that. So eliminate your useless comms. So either talk less with more brevity in your statements, or not, or and if you want to talk more, fill that extra gap that you have suddenly found in your speech with more relevant information, universal cooldowns, for example. Yeah, you're another person who I think just puts way too little thought into the macro gameplay and how you yourself are going to win. So find those 10%, don't create them from your opponents, and win.